Good day, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode 31 of the Good Day podcast, where Max and I talk about our adventures down under. Another week in beautiful Magnetic Island here.
We're just
It's
really attracted to this
This
place.
place has been amazing. We love it, but we're coming down. I think we only have about 9 days left, 10 days left, something like that here, and then
Yeah,
back to the mainland Australia.
maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe. We'll see.
So, yeah, this week has been pretty exciting, I think.
Lots of fun stuff. We tried to keep active, tried to stay doing things out and about.
Health journeys. But something very exciting is how many times we've seen Spud,
Yeah.
also known as Spuddy, around the yard during the day.
So a quick recap if you guys are skipping some episodes. We lost a cat. And this cat's been lost for a month. It's not like we haven't but like the cat lives at the house basically. It just like it comes back to the house at night because we leave it food. We've been trying to capture this cat. But we really rarely see it ever in the day. And then one day we're coming home from the beach, and Maxie says, "I bet we'll see Spud right now." Or she said something like, "What if Spud was just in
No,
the
I said, I
driveway?"
feel like we're gonna see Spud right now. And then we pull in, and he was just lounging on the side of the driveway in the neighbor's yard on this little concrete slab.
Just hanging out. And then when we went to go and say hi to him, well, you went to try because I think he's afraid of me because I've tried to capture him so many times
Yeah, I slowly approached him, but he slowly disappeared
into the
from.
woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the cat is an outdoor cat. He's the only one that has a collar on, and he just lives outside now, basically. And the other
Honestly,
morning too, we were taking the dog on a walk, and I see something down in the gutter that's right next to the house, and it was Spud, just sleeping in the gutter, just sleeping right there. So that's where we think he's been staying all night.
yep. And he was looking at us from that gutter.
And we
So,
saw him again there this morning. We've seen him like there 4 times now. So the homeowner is like, oh yeah, he'll come back when I'm back. But like, we still think it'd be good to get him in.
not really. I don't really want him in because Corey said that he like found little fleas in her exterior veranda room that we have closed off from the rest of the house. So I think that he's bringing in fleas. So
Yeah,
we have that room isolated.
there's so many fleas in that room. It's disgusting. I had poured like salt and flea powder all over, but my ankles got destroyed by fleas.
Yeah. So hopefully, if we get him, he could just live in that room. It has its own litter box, and
Yeah, he'll be.
we'll feed him in there.
I'm gonna
But
try again. I haven't been trying that hard each night to capture him, but tonight I'm gonna try again and see if we can get him to come home again.
yeah. So
That's been an exciting part. Seeing him and making sure he's all right. Just like seeing him and being like, okay, he's all right. Then that's like reassuring that he's fine. He's doing well. He's living his life outside. He's probably living his best life.
I think he is. He wants to be outside.
Yeah.
So who are we to stop him?
No, I can't stop him.
And it's been far longer than a month because I think we only had 2 full days with him.
That's crazy. I can't believe that.
Like, I don't even remember him being in this house. Like, I don't have memories of living with him. I remember him on the day that she left for the
Yeah, he
airport.
was here maybe for 3 days. I think that might be it.
Yeah. So, anyways, whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we did our fast, our full day fast. It ended up being like 35 hours.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I just like people talk about fasting as this big like spiritual thing. I think you have to do a fast for much longer to get like massive spiritual effects. But I thought it was good. Like, I mean, you felt clear and you have so much extra time during the day too because you don't cook and you don't eat. You're not sitting down spending that time eating. So we stayed active and it was good. And what do you think of the fast?
Yeah, more time to think about how hungry you are. I
Yeah.
actually was quite hungry. I've gone on days here where I don't eat until dinner time, like 7 p.m. anyways, and I'm fine all day. I even went on like a 4 mile run with Corey through the trails that day and worked on my feet all day and wasn't hungry until dinner time. But then the day that I choose to fast, I'm starving.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's like a very mental thing.
Yeah, I just thought it was like an annoying thing where it's like, ah, this is fine, this is easy. And we were drinking coconut water too, so it's like you get your electrolytes and stuff through coconut water, and um, that was kind of like, I don't know, coconut water felt a little bit like cheating, but not really. It was like a coconut water cleanse, really.
No, I think that works as a fast. It's not like a juice cleanse where you're kind of
Yeah,
getting
some nutrients from
like a
juices.
thick
Yeah,
juice is like kind of like a food. But
agreed. Yeah,
whatever, it was good. Someday we'll try to do that again and build up
yeah. No,
our.
I enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. I thought it was good.
Everyone should do it. Jesus did it, guys.
Yeah,
So while we were fasting, we had to fill our day with something. Um,
to
some
keep our minds occupied.
Yeah. So we went on a very long hike.
Yeah, we went on almost a 10-mile hike that was better than the Great Ocean or Great Mountain Trek
Great Island
trek
trek.
that we did the other week. Just like the routes. So how this Great Island Trek was, that was the race that Maxie and I won. Um, it was a bad route. It double backed on the same section of road for almost like more than a mile, probably almost 2 miles of the same section. So you're walking 4 miles of the same road out of the 10 miles. Maybe it wasn't four, maybe it was just a mile, but nonetheless, you're repeating a lot of it, and it's only a 9.5, 10 mile like race. So we did a different route that was so much better. More trails, so many koalas, and yeah, it's just overall a better route. And we just kind of started walking, and we didn't really know where we were going, and that's just how we ended up, just walking this amazing route.
Yeah, the best part was that we were like, should we go on a walk? And then we left the house and we did not realize, we thought it was going to be a casual stroll, but we ended up doing the 10 miles.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't think it would be that long. Like I was like, oh, maybe we'll go to the forts, which is where all the koalas are, and then we'll head home.
but the forest was so far.
Yeah, the forts was a lot further than I expected, and then we ended up walking that and then taking the coastal route home, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
And it was a beautiful day for it too, a little bit overcast, not too hot, so we weren't dying.
Is that when it was windy?
Yeah,
Okay, so we saw so many koalas because they sit lower in the trees so that the branches aren't shaking around up tall in the trees on a windy day. It's more stable down low, and they were all holding their babies and snuggling them tight so they didn't get shook by the wind.
it was one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. Like the koala was like bear hugging its little baby in its arm and protecting it from the wind. It was so adorable.
We saw multiple moms and babies doing that. It was so
Yeah, we
cute.
saw a total of 8 koalas in the matter of like an hour, or not even. It was amazing.
Yeah, and probably three were moms and three were babies, and then
There was a couple others
a
that
couple others.
one guy that had a massive nose.
An Italian koala.
Yeah, the koalas here are just so cool to see. You want to like pet them and like hold them, but you never know. They could
Yeah,
come
you're
after you.
like we could have easily have pet multiple koalas that day. They were so close to us.
Yeah, this is the closest I've ever been to a wild koala. It was like you were looking at a bookshelf, a book on a library bookshelf. It was
Yeah.
so like you could have just picked it up just like that.
So really good job for me for refraining from petting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome. I love the koalas. I love the hike. And then this was all on our fasting day. And after that, we hadn't really played Scrabble much lately, so we got back into it.
Yeah. No time to eat dinner, so had to game it up.
Time to play games, yeah. And the last game we played was a while ago, and I crushed Maxie, stomped her to the floor. I don't even know if she scored 100 points in that game.
Lies,
I like
slander.
I was tossing out these amazing words, and then just like on that fast day, I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll play for fun," and I was kind of like going easy on Maxie.
Okay, first off, you did win last time, but that's because it was the third time we played and I won. I
Oh, so you
blew
let me
you out of the
win.
water the first two times, and then the third time I got only vowels for like eight
Rounds.
rounds in a row. So, yes, you did win the last time we
Yeah.
played, and you were not going easy on me.
No,
This,
it was breeze, like funsies.
mm-hmm. But what was the score?
The score was like 360 to 200.
And who
I
won?
I lost very
It's
badly.
okay.
Yes, that was a tough loss, but hey, it makes the wins much sweeter.
He did challenge my words at least 3 times and lost his turn
Yeah, there's a
because
couple
I
like
know words.
who would think footy is like an official Scrabble word or like
You didn't challenge that one actually, but yeah, there were a few that
it's the
more.
Scrabble dictionary. I don't know.
It's okay, Corey.
No, I'm fine with it. I just lost my challenges, and then you had like 100-point swing during that time.
Yeah, yep.
It is what it is. Like sometimes the bad player wins, and that's what happens.
Rules is rules. Corey only wins when he breaks the rules.
I never break the rules playing Scrabble.
Yeah, you were. It was probably that game when
If
you
we're
were
going
like,
into the rule book, here we go.
okay.
The first game of Scrabble we played, I put down a word and I say, and Max is like, "That's not a real word. I forget what it is." And then I ask her if she wants to challenge it, and she challenges it, and it's a real word. And then I look up, if you lose a challenge, there has to be some repercussions. And she lost the challenge, but at this time we didn't know the rule was if you
I don't
lose a
remember
challenge.
this.
No, this is how the first game went.
Okay, but yes, facts. We didn't remember the challenging rule and consequence rule until probably after that first game.
No, we found it out right after you challenged, and I said you lose a turn if you challenge.
Okay, but that we were already like multiple plays past that.
But
I
there's an
remember.
asterisk on that first game. Just
All right, whatever. Yep.
no, Maxie is definitely the better Scrabble player than me, and I have to do anything I can to win.
Okay. The record knows now.
But I've never cheated. I've played by the rules.
No, you like to like add in new rules in the middle of the game. That's what happens. Or you official rules that we never acknowledged.
Just
Because it has been years since we've played. Like this house set is the first time we've played Scrabble in probably,
I've ne
I want to say like
yeah,
8 years.
been so long.
So
Yeah.
it's okay to forget some rules, guys. Anyways, this is boring.
True. That is boring. But well, lots of walks in these national parks here have made me think like, what's the difference between the United States national parks and the Australia national parks? Because a lot of my complaints with this national park on this island, it takes up I think like 80% of the island, and there's only really 4 or 5 trails on this entire place, maybe making up about 30 miles, if that. No, probably way less, probably 15 miles of trails on this island. If this was a U.S. national park, there would be trails to the highest point, there'd be like observation loops and just like trails everywhere. And it's just like, I think in the United States, a national park, to get that title, is you have to be the top of all the state parks. You have to be like the cream of the crop to get the national park title. Like it's not easy to become a national park in the United States. Like
There's
these are
national forest, there's state forest, there's national
yeah, there's different like claims on land like national wilderness
state
areas.
forest.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of different things. But here, I think just for some sort of like land protection right, they just slap a national park title on it. There's no, like, really no facilities. Like, every national park in the US has a beautiful visitor center, has like so much good
A
stuff that,
welcome gate.
yeah, that
Simple
make it
things.
a national park that like is an attraction for everyone to see, for the people to see.
And you know when you're in it because like you have to enter the welcome
The gate,
gate.
yeah.
But in Australia, they're just everywhere and you just drive through them on the highway and you're just like, "Oh, we're driving through the national park. Who knew?"
Yeah, so it's just like
It's like a
it's a facade, really.
yeah.
It's like their national parks are not good. They should just be like plots of land or like they should have some other title that isn't national park.
And they don't encourage you to explore it. Like Corey said, the amazing American Visitor Centers give you all these different
Hikes you can do.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really all about enjoying the land. And here, they don't even have a visitor center for the
Yeah.
national park, and this island is probably 90% national park.
It's all national park. So it's just like there's such a difference between how good the US has some things and how like even Australia, which is like a fully developed country that is I don't know how prosperous it is, but its national parks just are not as good as the US. This cat just has been this cat some
Sorry, this cat that you probably hear in the background just jumped off the tallest piece of
yeah.
furniture onto the floor. Cats really have 9 lives. Um, but
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's my rant on national parks in the US versus Australia.
and those 15 miles of trail that they have here are all like right on the border of the 4 neighborhoods, which are on the east side basically of the island. And
Yeah. Even New
like
Zealand had better hikes, I
it's not
think.
like it has 15 miles of trails through the middle of the national park, which is the majority of the island. It's like all
On one
right.
side,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all right on the edges of the neighborhoods.
Yeah, so that's my call for Australia to become better at their national parks, maintain them more, and just build more trails and stuff. Let people use your national parks. There's been numerous times where we're like, "Oh, this is a national park. Oh, there's not even a parking lot." Like
Yeah.
crazy.
Or you just drive through it, which would not be the case in the US. You'd have to pay an entrance fee.
Yeah.
Um,
But speaking of hikes and stuff, we did a beautiful. There's like we've been checking off since there's so little hikes on this island. We've been checking off each like beach, each bay, kind of trying to go to every single one of them. And the next one we went to was Picnic Bay Viewpoint and Rocky Bay.
yeah, it's pretty steep. Like Corey was telling me on the hike, all the hikes on this island are just straight up, no
Yeah,
switchbacks.
just straight up, very classic New England. I think New England doesn't really use switchbacks much, but here it's just straight up. And it was actually a pretty hard hike to this viewpoint. You could see it from the road, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look too far. And
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be really short,
yeah,
but it was steep
it was tough.
and a really beautiful view of the blue water and the Townsville orangey rock and
Hmm.
the green mountain rainforesty look on the island.
Yeah, this island I do give it credit because it is one of the most beautiful like landscapes I've ever seen. It's truly gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is. And then we hiked down to Rocky Bay, which is besides Balding Bay. You guys all know about that one. Rocky Bay is the only other clothing optional beach,
Mm.
but we had to check it off our to see list. I mean, it's a short list of things we gotta complete here. So
Yeah,
we
but
had to
there was
go.
actually no nudists down there.
Yeah, we were
There was
looking at
more like normal people than anything.
every single person was clothed in their bathing suits.
Yeah, and I was comparing. Maxie was making fun of me because I look for nudists just because I don't want them to catch me off guard. I don't want
He was like
someone
staring all around the beach as we were trying to find a spot.
just like I don't want to post up next to the nudists and have them come talk to me naked. I don't like that. But I was comparing it to like Max was like, "What are you looking for?" I'm like, "I don't want to sit near any nudists. I'm just looking for him like I'm looking for a koala. I got to keep my wits about me here."
Yeah, I get it. I get it. They do really catch you off guard, but more power to them. There wasn't any on that beach that day. But I do want to acknowledge, speaking of the beach, how Australians are so casual about everything and they just walk around with their feet caked in sand, barefoot, and they come into businesses. I'm working at the surf shop, and one day, one like windy, not so good day, like not a beach day basically, Corey came and visited me at the end of the day and I asked him to vacuum a little bit. And he was like, I just vacuumed up a whole beach in here. And I said, no, you should see it on a sunny day where people actually do go to the beach. Then you're going to be vacuuming a real beach because they just come in barefoot with their disgusting feet. They don't. We have these massive mats outside the store that say, please dry off and take all the sand off your feet before entering, and they're bright yellow and with black writing, and there's two of them. You can't miss them. These people still come in with sand caked on the top of their feet, like that's and on the sides of their feet. This is just something you would not see in an establishment in the US. And they go to restaurants like this, they go to clothing stores, they ask to try on clothes and try on shorts and do all these things
And
like this.
also, another thing you told me that was shocking was people come in like dripping wet.
Oh, all the time. My
Who
boss will freak out on them because like she's very protective of her shop, but like Australians think that's normal.
who in the world jumps in the ocean and is like, "Oh, you know what I need? I need to go try on a t-shirt," and like walk in this surf shop and just like are still wet, like go dry off a little bit. I get like if you're damp or something, but these people are they you said they're like actually water is
Like
still coming off.
pouring off
Yeah.
them. Like, why did you not use the towel before crossing the road to come to all the shops? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But it's just not the American way of doing things. We can't even go into a business with no shoes, no shirt, or
Yeah.
and we'll get no service if we do that. Um, so it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me, and they do it even though there's signs not to do it. And then my boss will be like, "Are you trying to buy a towel? Like, what are you doing that you're soaking wet in my clothing store?" And they'll be like, "Oh no, we were just wanted to look around." So it's just insane.
Yeah, it is nuts.
They're very casual people. Like
Super cash.
Americans are much more, I don't know, respectful of other people's establishments, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also at the shop, you've had a little bit of a busy week.
Yeah, so since I'm leaving and then someone just did an early retirement, and yeah, that's basically it. My boss is trying to hire someone, and she ended up choosing three people. One girl
Yes.
is 32, one woman is 56, and one's 58. And so I've had to train them this week. And I'm not getting paid anything more than the casual level one rate for this job. And she refuses to say that I'm training them. She will
Go
go
to.
to the furthest
Mhm.
extent. Corey's witnessed it, that she refuses to say I'm training them. I even texted her who's training today and what time, and she even sent me a text back being like, they're not learning the register, they're just doing everything else. And like they've never worked in this shop before, so obviously they have 10 million questions for me because that's normal and like you want to express
Interest.
interest in how to do the job right. And I've had to do three different people in some multiple days so far. And yeah, that's just another weird thing that she only wants to hire one of them, but she's making three of them train.
Yeah, that
That's
is
just
odd.
a side note on that. But yeah, she's just refusing to say I'm training them.
It
And
must be because there's some sort of pay raise, and I don't know.
it's definitely, I just do the right thing. Like, I'm not here that long. If you need to pay me a couple more dollars an hour,
Yeah,
because she only had these people training for 3 hours a day. Like, that's not that much more to pay me at a
yeah.
higher rate. Anyways, it's just kind of disrespectful that she will just go to the
And you're
nth
doing
degree.
everything. You're opening, closing, doing the money.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that I'm supposed to be at a higher rate regardless of training anyone. I think that, yeah, I think Australia has it spelled out that if you're handling the money and opening and closing a store, that you're at a higher level than
mm,
level one. So I have to talk to her about it. It's just a little awkward because we're kind of buddy buddy at this point.
yeah. And they actually took us out to dinner too.
Yes. So, her husband was going to England for 6 weeks to be with family. So before he left, he wanted to take us out to dinner to thank me for stepping in and helping them for these
Yeah, and you
two
kind of like
months.
opened up a window for them because they never hired any foreigners or they had never hired anyone like else.
Yeah, she
And
said we've only ever had locals, only old ladies,
yeah,
and
so Maxi really opened up their world and allowed them to hire new people, really.
yeah, their main girl that they're gonna choose from the new hires is gonna be a Argentinian girl, so
Mm.
and a young girl. So yeah, so they wanted to thank us and they took us out to dinner, probably the nicest restaurant on the island, right?
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And there's always that thing where like you don't know what to order because they like the other people are going to be paying for you, so you don't want to like get the most expensive thing on the menu. But
Yeah.
They all got the most. They both got the most expensive things on the menu, and they're like, "Oh, you guys got to get this too. It's the best."
Yeah, they really encouraged us to get the most expensive thing on the menu with them,
Yeah, and it
which
was
was really
called
nice.
the Reef and Beef
Yeah, like surf and turf.
Surf and Turf, but instead of lobster, they had this thing called bugs, which on the menu actually looks like the most wild thing ever.
Topped with bugs.
Yeah,
It's
it's like you think you're gonna get a steak and like crickets or something like that.
yeah, but no, bugs are, you're familiar with the term bugs,
Yeah,
but they use it.
lobsters can be known as bugs, but it was just like a weird looking mini lobster that had like a flat head almost.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
good.
It was fine. It was like
I
a
like lobster better.
definitely lobster's better. It tasted
Similar.
crabby, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. I liked it. The Reef and Beef would get it again.
Yeah,
Loved
it
it.
was really good
The
at
potatoes were the best.
Barefoot Art and Food or Art and Wine, something like
Yeah.
that. It's like an art gallery restaurant. It was really cool on the beach. So we got to see the sunset. So that was super fun and they were super nice and they wanted us to order appetizers too, which Australians call entrees.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were very generous.
Yeah.
And they're telling us that they want to adopt
Oh
me.
yeah. So the husband Jeff of the Sharon is like always like, "Oh, Maxie, we want to adopt you," and then Maxie's always joking like, "Oh, just sponsor us and we'll stay." Like, and then at dinner they were like, "Yeah, well, we looked into sponsoring and we just can't. It's just not. We don't qualify for it."
Yeah, their business doesn't qualify.
But it was funny that she was joking around and they actually looked into it like it was a serious thing.
Yeah, it's so sweet that they like me that much. It's very, very, very nice.
Yeah, they are super nice people.
Warms my heart. And then the next morning at work, Sharon said, I know Jeff made the joke that I would adopt you if I could, but honestly, Jeff didn't even say that he'd definitely adopt both of you. So they love Corey too.
Yeah, they are nice because I go talk to them like every day when I pick up Maxie from work, so it's fun.
Yeah, they're super nice.
Good people,
And we'll have
man.
to come visit them in like the years to come back to Magnetic
Yeah,
Island.
I would totally come back here in the future. It's such a nice island. I wouldn't. Hopefully, we wouldn't have to stay in this house again.
No. Oh my
This
God.
house,
We both agreed that we wouldn't.
yeah, like do this dog sit again. No, I mean it's kind of growing on me. Winnie, after that incident, is growing on me a little bit. But like this house is so weird. I don't know if we talked about the wallpapers. It's just like her bathroom has just the most random wallpapers ever.
It's
Like
like British and Australian
it
photos.
gives me like a headache to look at and think about.
She made it herself. It's not a real wallpaper. She just like
It's like
took magazine pages and made a
yeah,
wall.
it's the most ridiculous thing ever. And then like the door to her bathroom just has all staffies on it, just random dogs. And we're like, oh, when we first got here, we're like, oh, is this like Winnie? Is this the dog here? And she was like, no, no.
Yeah,
And
they're
I was,
just random dogs.
we were like, what about this one? Is this Winnie? And she's like, no, none of them are Winnie. I just really like, it's just like so nice. But it's the weirdest thing ever that two of these doors are like, or like two of these wallpapers.
Walls.
It's just two walls in the whole house that are just like the weirdest wallpapers ever.
I will post the pictures on Instagram so you guys can see the wallpapers. It's actually quite a sight to see.
Yeah, it is for sure.
But another weird thing about this house is we've been here for like what, 6 weeks now?
Six, 7, yeah, 6 weeks.
And we've been sitting on the couch together every night after dinner, like watching Netflix usually. And I've made comments over and over about how I cannot believe that she doesn't have any blankets. Like I'm talking throw blankets. No, I don't want to get my bedroom duvet to the couch from across the house. I think I did have to do that at the last house hit. But anyways, that one was a freezing cold house.
Yeah.
Um, so I keep making comments like, I can't believe this house doesn't have any blankets. And then literally like 2 days ago, no, like
Last
last night, I said it again, and Corey was like, yes, there's blankets. And I couldn't believe him that he was gatekeeping all these blankets, and he went to a closet and brought out the fuzziest blanket.
Well, I really honestly thought you knew the blankets existed because there's that time when we had them open. It's and the
Had what
cat,
open?
we had that cabinet open that has the blankets
That
in it.
cabinet has towels and sheets and things, and I wasn't even paying attention to all the items in
But
there.
one of the cats jumped into there and was like snuggling up on the blankets, and I shut the cat in there. And I thought you just knew about the blankets after that. I didn't discover them probably for, I didn't see they were in there for the first 4 weeks or something like that.
No, I didn't notice. I was laughing at the cat.
Yeah. But
But
yes,
you
we have,
you gate kept,
I did, yes.
and I was chilly. But there we have it.
Yeah, there we have it. And some other stuff we've been doing lately is we just went to Florence Bay again. So Florence Bay is one of the best snorkel spots on the island. But whenever we go, it's either super rough or like yesterday, low visibility. It was actually the worst visibility. Brantford has better visibility than what we had yesterday. Like
Yeah.
we got out there to the reef, which is probably only like 100-yard swim. And we looked down, and literally it was like you were blind. And then I dove down a little bit, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm right next to the reef now, and I can still barely see the outline of the coral."
I didn't see any coral.
Yeah, so just like reminiscing on Exmouth and the West Coast and how amazing the Ningaloo Reef was. Like, it was some of the most spectacular snorkeling ever.
Yeah. I would go back there.
100% if you want to go snorkeling, go to the West Coast. Just so, like, there's no question about it. You like go to the beach, swim out, and you're at the reef, and it's just like such a like the West Coast was amazing.
Yeah, that's
WA,
my
I think, is my
favorite.
favorite too. I think I like it more than Tassie.
Yeah, from Esperance up to Exmouth.
The
That's
whole
my
thing is
favorite.
just
The whole
gorgeous.
thing, the
Yeah,
whole state. But that's my favorite road trip
yeah.
segment.
That was so amazing, and just the West Coast. I wish we could go back, and yeah, that is just so nice.
Yep. So we will go back
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Maybe we'll just go back.
Yeah, maybe we'll just go back.
Yeah, maybe we'll go instead of going south, go west.
Yeah.
No, I think right now in Broome it would be awfully hot and
Wet season.
yeah,
It was
wet
already wet
seasons.
when we were there in the winter.
True, yeah. But yeah, if you're coming to Australia to snorkel, don't get persuaded. We haven't gone to the like outer reef, but we're technically in the outer reef
Yeah.
because
The
this
island is in the Great Barrier Reef.
yeah, so it should be like good snorkeling here, but there's like small like atolls, I think they call them, or just like patches of sand and coral where you can take like a tour boat out to go to, but you
Yeah.
didn't need to do that on the West
It's
Coast.
actually so expensive too. Yeah, like the beautiful reef is a feet off the
Yeah,
sand
right.
on the West
I just
Coast.
remember how good Rottnest Island was.
So
Like that was some of the
good.
best snorkeling we've ever
So
seen.
good. And then this one you have to take a 3 hour boat ride out to go to like some of the best parts. Like, we've already done the Whitsundays one. That was
Yeah,
probably a 2.5 hour boat ride
and
at
that
the
still
bottom
wasn't
of the
that
reef.
good. I don't
Really
remember.
big fish
Yeah.
was I don't remember any coral there, but the fish were really big. And then, yeah, I think that's what my friend Evan said, that they did a 5 day sailing trip in the Great Barrier Reef, and he said Ningaloo was better for coral and like seeing things, and then the Great Barrier Reef just had like big fish.
Mm, yeah.
So there you have it
So
for
that's your review of the
the
two.
snorkeling review.
Hmm. But I did
I'm
another review, food review.
I'm very proud of Corey.
Hmm.
Last night he made
Pork Wellington.
pork Wellington.
So I wanted to make. So every year we do this Christmas party with both of our families, and I wanted to make something this year, and I wanted to practice a little bit, and I wanted to make beef Wellington. So if you're either of our families, you're getting a little surprise if you listen to this before we plan the party.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. But I was like, all right, if I want to do this for Christmas, I want to try and make it right now, just because see if it's like actually possible. Because beef Wellington, if you don't know, is just like a puff pastry surrounded with a pork or like a piece of filet mignon, basically the center cut tenderloin. And I was like, all right, none of these places have center cut tenderloin. let me just do it with pork because I know that's like similar, except it has to be cooked through longer. So yeah, I gave it a shot. I started cooking and I started making the puff pastry at like 3 o'clock, and we didn't eat till like eight o'clock.
Like
So
7.
it was like an intensive process, but it actually came out so good. And
Oh no, like yeah, like 7:38. Yeah.
I was
Or like
shocked.
8, sorry.
I was shocked to see
It was long.
the final result being as good as it was, and it was absolutely delicious.
It was so good. I'm gonna post videos and pictures. It was beautiful as well.
Yeah, I actually impressed myself with how good it came out and how it was. The pork was since you got to since you got to cook pork all the way through, and like you don't really have to do that with beef. You can leave the center rare. I was impressed that it was fully done, and yeah, I was just super happy with it. I've never done that, and that's like probably one of the hardest things I've ever made. I
Yeah.
think the hardest thing I've ever
Well,
made.
they say beef Wellington is like the hardest thing you could cook,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. My like puff pastry, most people don't make their homemade puff pastry because it takes a long time,
But
but
Corey did.
I did, yes, and I think it could be wrapped up better. I don't know, but nonetheless, done. It was amazing.
It was so good, and I think I'm allergy free now. Worked with a healer, and yeah, I got to eat that delicious glutinous puff pastry
That was so good.
covered in butter and dairy, and it was so good.
Yeah,
Great
so
job, Corey.
that was a great meal last night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're kind of slightly wrapping up here on the island, but like Corey said, or we kind of inferred in the beginning, we might stay longer. Not only did we enter a giveaway to win a 2-night stay at the hotel that's just at the end of our road, but so we'll find out if we won or not in 2 days, 3 days. Um, but my boss has been trying to like work out ways for us to stay longer
Yeah.
because she's like loves me, I think, as a friend and a worker, and she trusts me more than all these other new people. Um, but she has a sister that owns a house here that only spends a couple weeks or months of the year here and it sits empty. And she was like, she just texted me yesterday and said, "You could stay longer in my sister's house, just watch the garden for her, water the garden, and stay longer." So,
Yeah, she sent us like there was another dog sit on the island that she sent us. So she just been keen
yeah,
for us to stay a little longer. And I don't know, like our next house it doesn't start until the 15th of October. So like we have some time and it's a 14-hour drive south. So it's like not too far away for like we'll have some time in between and there's not really much to do in between here and there. So we're kind of deciding,
couple stops.
do we want to stay longer? We know we want to do this one Fraser Island for 2 days at least. So like kind of just planning and making sure we will like want to do what we want to do.
Yeah, so it's really, really, really nice that she wants us to stay longer, and that was a sweet offer from her sister.
Yeah, I think we'll probably take it if she like wants to stay like one more weekend or
Yeah,
like
if like 5 to 7 days is
7 days.
worth it
Yeah,
for them, we'll probably stay another week
yeah,
or less. But there you have it.
yeah.
I keep
That's
saying that this week. That's like my 10th time saying that.
well, that's it for this week. We thank you guys so much for listening. Yeah, it's been fun on Magnetic Island. We'll probably hear once more again from Magnetic Island to wrap up this amazing island sit. And yeah,
Perhaps 2 more times.
yeah.
But thank you guys. We love you.
Thank you
Thanks for
guys so much for
listening.
listening. Have a good day.
Have a good day.